People like to talk about this being a very right-wing court, and that's not the case.
Do you think that the Supreme Court has been fair to Donald Trump?
I think so. I think that, especially a lot of the key issues in this election, abortion, I think the immunity issue, all of that's been really good. I think that that's important. You cannot treat our presidents like this, and you can't treat, posterity to recover the sins of the past. I mean, that's it. You've got to move on from where we're at. Supreme Court didn't made the right decisions. Let the states decide how do you want to run it. And I think that's President Trump's position as well.
Do you think the Supreme Court's been fair to Donald Trump?
Are you talking, the Supreme Court? I think that I trust the Supreme Court to make judgments according to the law. And I think that they have done that to the best of their ability. They are not a political entity. And that's what's great about America. We have the separation of powers. So,
does it feel more like they're a political entity than they've ever been?
No, it does not. We see split decisions with different people going different ways, and I don't feel that way.
Do you think these judges owe anything to the presidents, these justices, to the presidents who appoint them?
Absolutely not. They need to be completely independent of politics.
If Donald Trump were to expand the court, should he win, how would you feel about that?
I don't believe he would do that, and I don't believe he would make that decision in any way, shape, or form.
Do you think the Supreme Court has been fair to Donald Trump?
I actually think the decision was bad. I agree with, I haven't read all of it, but I actually tend to agree with Amy Coney Barrett's concurrence, where she would have given them about half of what they actually gave him. I think that we need to draw a very delicate line between indicting every president for their wartime and otherwise official acts. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a commander-in-chief. Versus, I do believe Donald Trump is probably guilty of petty crimes and misdemeanors for his behavior, but I also think every president is. And frankly, to be honest with you, the past two presidents, Obama and Bush, probably guilty of war crimes. So if you want to go down that road, we could indict every last sitting president.
Do you believe in broad presidential immunity?
Like I said, I think that it's a very delicate line we have to draw. No, I don't. The answer is no.
Do you think this Supreme Court has been fair to Donald Trump?
They've only decided like one or two cases that have to do with him, so yes.
Do you think a Supreme Court justice owes anything to the president that appointed them?
People like to talk about this being a very right-wing court, and that's not the case. There have been more cases where people have crossed from one side to the other or been unanimous, et cetera, et cetera. It is not a right-wing court at all.
Do you think the Supreme Court is demanding any kind of reform? Do you think they should have a code of ethics?
Do I think they should do anything but interpret the law? No.
But if, for example, one justice took plane rides on a donor's dime, does that bother you at all?
No, because if you follow the law, it makes no difference.
How do you feel about the Supreme Court now? Are you happy with the Supreme Court as it is?
Well, I would say, even though I would say I am Republican, I would say I would like a more split. I would like to see Democrats and Republicans. I wouldn't like to hear one voice pushing the whole thing through. But I do like our Supreme Court. I think they all have America's ideals in their minds.
Have they been fair to President Trump, you think?
Yes and no. I would say I don't watch it quite enough to answer that perfectly. I will say that truthfully.
I am retired law enforcement. I did work 27 years in the NYPD as a supervisor, sergeant. When I see everything rigged, I don't trust anything. I don't care who's appointed to what. It's something that Donald Trump is going to change, and it's going to make this whole country so much better. I don't even trust our judicial system.